There is a spot in the middle of the ocean where you can actually walk into the waves and have dozens of lemon sharks swim right between your legs. If you have ever felt like the world is getting too crowded and too loud, you need to see this group of islands that most people cannot even find on a map. Imagine a place where the Sahara Desert literally falls into the turquoise Atlantic Ocean, and nobody is in a rush to go anywhere. This is Cape Verde, a group of 10 volcanic islands sitting off the coast of West Africa that feels like a mix of Brazil, Portugal, and Africa all at once. People call it the African Caribbean, but to be honest, it has a vibe that is completely its own. In this video, I'm going to show you 20 things you absolutely have to do when you visit, from floating in a volcano to hiking through clouds. We are going to cover everything from the hidden beaches to the best food you will ever taste, so you can plan the perfect trip. The first thing you have to do is get yourself to Sal Island and walk onto the white sands of Santa Maria Beach. This is not just any beach, because the water is so blue, it almost looks like someone poured giant bottles of Gatorade into the ocean. You need to walk down to the big wooden pier right in the center of the beach around 10 in the morning. This is when the local fishermen bring in their catch, and you can see them cleaning massive tunas and colorful fish right in front of you. The energy there is amazing because everyone is laughing, birds are diving for scraps, and the sun is already starting to toast your skin. After you have seen the pier, you should head over to the Salinas de Pedra de Lume, which is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. It is a massive salt lake that sits inside the crater of an ancient, extinct volcano that is now below sea level. Because the water is so salty, you do not even have to try to swim. You just sit back and you float like a cork. It feels exactly like the Dead Sea in Jordan, and the minerals in the water make your skin feel like silk for the rest of the day. Just make sure you do not get any of that water in your eyes, because it will sting like crazy, and you will be squinting for an hour. If you want a little more adrenaline, you have to go to Shark Bay, which is just a short drive from the salt mines. You put on some rubber shoes and walk out into the shallow water, where baby lemon sharks are waiting to meet you. They are totally harmless to humans, but it is still a huge rush to see a fin popping out of the water just inches from your ankles. The sharks are curious and will swim in circles around you while you stand there trying to keep your camera steady. It is one of those moments where you realize how wild and beautiful the nature on these islands really is. Next, you need to hop over to the island of Boa Vista to see the Viana Desert. This is not just a little bit of sand. It is a massive desert with white dunes that look like they belong in the middle of the Sahara. The sand actually blows over from Africa across the ocean and gets stuck on this island, creating a mini desert in the middle of the sea. The best way to see it is by renting a quad bike and zooming over the dunes while the wind whips through your hair. It is incredibly quiet out there, and you can walk for miles without seeing another person, which is a very strange feeling on a small island. While you are on Boa Vista, you also have to visit the wreck of the Cabo Santa Maria on Praia de Atalanta. This is a huge cargo ship that ran aground in 1968, and now it just sits there on the shore, rusting away and looking like a ghost ship. The contrast of the orange rust against the blue water and the white sand is a dream for anyone who loves taking photos. It is a bit of a bumpy drive to get there, but standing next to that massive piece of history makes you feel very small. Now, if you want to see a completely different side of Cape Verde, you have to leave the flat, sandy islands and head to Fogo. Fogo means fire in Portuguese, and the island is basically one giant active volcano sticking out of the ocean. The number 6 thing on our list is hiking to the top of Pico do Fogo, which is the highest point in the entire country. It is a tough climb through black volcanic ash, but when you get to the top, you can look down into the smoking crater. The descent is the best part because you can actually run down the side of the volcano in the deep ash, which feels like skiing on moon dust. After your hike, you should stay a night in the village called Chão das Caldeiras, which is built right inside the volcanic crater. The houses here are made of black lava stone, and the people who live here are incredibly tough and friendly. They even grow grapes in the volcanic soil and make a very famous local wine that you can try with your dinner. It is one of the most unique places on Earth because you are literally sleeping in the shadow of a volcano that could erupt at any time. If you love green mountains instead of black lava, then you need to go to the island of Santo Antão. This island is a hiker's paradise, and the number 8 thing to do is trek through the Paul Valley. It is the greenest place in Cape Verde, filled with banana trees, coffee plants, and sugarcane growing on steep terraces. The air smells like fresh herbs and damp earth, and you will pass little stone houses where people still live very traditional lives. The hiking trails are old stone paths that wind around the mountains, and every turn gives you a view that looks like a postcard. To get around the island, you will have to drive on the Ribeira Grande Road, which is my number 9 recommendation. It is one of the most beautiful and terrifying roads in the world because it is narrow, made of cobblestones, and carved into the side of giant cliffs. The drop-offs are huge, but the views of the deep valleys and the ocean far below are something you will never forget. Make sure you have a good driver because you will want to keep your eyes on the scenery instead of the road. While you are on Santo Antão, you must visit the village of Fontainhas, which was once voted one of the most beautiful villages in the world. It is a tiny cluster of colorful houses perched on a narrow ridge that hangs over a deep green valley. The only way to get there is by a narrow road that hugs the cliffside, making it feel like a secret hidden world. It is the perfect place to sit down, grab a cold drink, and just wonder how people managed to build a town in such a wild place. Now let's talk about culture, because Cape Verde has a very deep and moving history. You need to visit the island of Santiago and explore Cidade Vella, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This was the first city built by Europeans in the tropics, and it was a major hub for the slave trade hundreds of years ago. You can walk through the old streets, see the ruins of the cathedral, and visit the fort that protected the harbor from pirates. It is a heavy place to visit because of its history, but it is so important for understanding the roots of the Cape Verdean people. If you want to feel the heartbeat of the islands, you have to go to Mindelo on the island of São Vicente. Mindelo is the cultural capital, and the nightlife there is all about the music. Cape Verde is famous for a style of music called morna, which is slow, soulful, and beautiful. You can go to a different bar every night and hear incredible live bands playing music that will make you want to dance and cry at the same time. It is the home of Tessária Évora, the most famous singer from the islands, and you should definitely visit the museum dedicated to her. She was known as the Barefoot Diva because she always performed without shoes to show solidarity with the poor people of her country. The museum is inside her old house, and it is full of her beautiful dresses, her awards, and the stories of her amazing life. If you are lucky enough to be there in February, you must attend the Mindelo Carnival. It is like a smaller, more intimate version of the carnival in Rio de Janeiro, with massive floats and incredible costumes. The whole city shuts down, and everyone dances in the streets for days, wearing feathers and glitter and bright colors. It is an explosion of joy and energy that shows exactly what the local motto of no stress really means. For something a bit more grounded, head back to Santiago and visit the Assomada Market on a Wednesday or Saturday. This is a massive traditional African market where you can find everything from giant piles of yams to handmade baskets. It is loud, crowded, and smells like spices and dried fish, which is exactly why it is so much fun. You get to see the real daily life of the locals as they bargain for clothes, food, and household goods. Now, we cannot talk about Cape Verde without mentioning the amazing wildlife that lives in and around the islands. The 16th thing on our list is turtle watching, which is a huge part of the local conservation efforts. Cape Verde is one of the most important nesting sites in the world for loggerhead turtles. Between July and October, you can go on a guided night tour to see the giant mother turtles come onto the beach to lay their eggs. It is a very quiet and respectful experience, and if you are there later in the season, you might even see the tiny babies hatching and running to the sea. If you prefer much bigger animals, you should go whale watching off the coast of Boa Vista. Humpback whales come to these waters between February and May to breed and give birth to their calves. You can take a boat out and see these massive creatures breaching and splashing in the waves. It is a powerful experience to see a whale that is as big as your boat jump completely out of the water just a few yards away. For a more peaceful nature experience, take a trip to the island of Mayo for some bird watching. Mayo is the quietest island of them all, and it is a haven for rare birds like the cream-colored courser and the Iago sparrow. The island feels like it has been forgotten by time, with deserted beaches and tiny villages where nothing ever seems to happen. It is the perfect place to go if you just want to listen to the wind and the birds and escape from the rest of the world. If you are more of an active traveler, you have to try kitesurfing or windsurfing on Sal Island. There is a place called Kite Beach that has world-class wind conditions, which is why so many professional kitesurfers train there. Even if you are a beginner, there are plenty of schools that can teach you how to fly across the water. It is a lot harder than it looks, but the feeling of being pulled by the wind over the waves is a massive rush. Finally, the 20th thing you have to do is taste the national dish, which is a slow-cooked stew called cachupa. It is made with corn, beans, yams, and either fish or meat, and every family has their own secret recipe. It is the ultimate comfort food, and it is so filling that you probably will not need to eat again for the rest of the day. You should also try the local spirit called grog, which is a very strong white rum made from sugarcane. It is the drink of choice for the locals, and you can visit small distilleries where they still use oxen to crush the cane. Just be careful because grog is very powerful, and a little bit goes a long way when you're sitting in the tropical sun. One big challenge you might face when visiting Cape Verde is moving between the islands. The ferry system can be a bit unreliable, and the ocean can be very rough, which makes some people feel quite seasick. The small planes are much faster, but they can be expensive, and they often sell out weeks in advance. My advice is to pick 3 or 4 islands and spend a few days on each, rather than trying to see them all in one trip. Give yourself plenty of extra time in case a flight is delayed, and just remember the local motto: no stress. If you try to rush things here, you will just get frustrated, so it is better to just sit back and have another glass of grog. The climax of any trip to Cape Verde is usually that moment when you realize how many different worlds are packed into one country. One day you are walking on a desert dune that looks like Africa, and the next, you are in a green valley that looks like Hawaii. You will realize that the best part of the islands isn't just the sights, but the people who make you feel like family. Cape Verde is a place that stays in your heart long after you leave because it teaches you how to slow down. It is a country that has very little in terms of wealth, but it is incredibly rich in music, culture, and spirit. Whether you are looking for an adventure on a volcano or just a quiet beach to read a book, you will find it here. Make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen and a good pair of walking shoes, because you are going to need them. And do not forget to pack your sense of adventure, because these islands are full of surprises. I hope this guide helps you plan an incredible journey to this beautiful part of the world. If you enjoyed seeing these islands, check our video descriptions for the best deals in hotels and accommodation, flights, attractions and tours, travel eSIMs and insurance, transfers and airport services, trains and buses, car and bike rentals, cruises, package tours,